Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. And again, happy Friday. We're about to kick off your weekend the right way. We've got the the third place deck build from SJC Edison. Again, being the last of the SJCs. This is actually a pretty special event. A lot of the big names were here. One of the biggest was Billy Brake, who did place third with his Synchro Cat build. And looking at the main list, it is loosely Synchro Cat. It is absolutely Synchro Cat, but it's more something I would consider like toolbox tech. It's got a bunch of little engines into it. I'm very excited to show you guys this deck. His name used to pop up everywhere on the like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anything where people were like talking about top decks and everything. This was a name brand, pretty much. So getting into the deck list, 40 cards in the main. Let's go to them. First card, single copy of Caius. And again, this is one of the better Monarchs with the spot removal. So again, very good stuff. Second, single copy Chaos Sorcerer. Again, I want to say this guy was limited to one in this time period, which just shows you how talented Billy is. This guy is a one of, and he uses it not only to get the spot removal once per turn. He uses this to manage his discard pile for another card that he's going to be playing. And again, just uses everything he can to his advantage. Next up, why side deck it when you can main deck them? 2 copies of Cyber Dragon. Again, just a great like a start play to get into all of your additional plays afterward. Good stuff. Single copy Dark Arm Dragon. This is why I keep praising the Chaos Sorcerer move. Because again, you need exactly 3 dark in the discard pile in order to summon him, and then afterward, it doesn't matter how many darks are in there. But he can remove a dark one at a time to destroy a card on the field. So if you had 4, Chaos Sorcerer gets in there, lends you a hand real quick, takes one of them out, you get to additionally special summon the Dark Armed Dragon. And again, maybe Stardust Dragon was already on the field, so Chaos Sorcerer is going to do another job by protecting the Dark Armed Dragon by banishing the Stardust Dragon. So again, it's very intrinsic the way that this deck plays. It's very good, very tech. Another card he uses is 3 copies of the Doom Caliber Knight. Again, this is very aggressive control since the effect is mandatory. These cannot be special summoned. However, during either player's turn, when a monster effect is activated, you immediately tribute this to target that card and negate the activation and destroy that monster card. So again, Doom Caliber Knight, super aggressive on the control. Another great card that he's playing today, or at that day, was Gore's the Emissary of Darkness. Again, this is standard tech. He's got a small Gravekeeper engine in here. Single copy Descendant, which triggers by attributing other Gravekeepers to destroy cards on the field. And pairing it off with 2 copies of Gravekeeper Spy. Again, these flip and they bring out a Gravekeeper to the field with 1500 or less attack. And again, you can go Spy for Spy. You can put them both in defense mode. It does not specify the position of the summoned target, which is why it was always one of my favorite ones. But this adds like a wonderful tech element to the deck. Next up, Rescue Cat, one of the title cards. The whole point here is you could send this to the graveyard from field, special summon 2 level 3 or lower beasts. No effects, destroyed during the end phase. And you can only use the effective Rescue Cat once in a round. Again, I want to say this was already limited down to 1. Otherwise, he'd be playing more because this is just too good. And again, we've got something for this. Next up, we're going to show you 3 copies of Raikou. Again, the Flip Destroy was very important. The Mill 3 could help you fill in the graveyard to get to the Chaos Sorcerer and or Dark Armed Dragon. It's just a good stuff card. Sangan makes a lot of this deck searchable. All of our Gravekeepers are Sangan, the Raikous, the Rescue Cat. Obviously, Sangan's not searching for himself. He would be a target, but like there's one of. It also leads into the next target, which is your Summoner Monk. And again, Summoner Monk, when summoned, clicks himself from attack to defense. And for the discard of anyone's spell card, you get to go ahead and play another level 4 from your deck that cannot attack this turn. Now, that doesn't mean it can't attack the next turn. So like if you wanted to play something out like, I don't know, the Gravekeeper's Descendant, you can do that. More often than not, this play here is made for the Rescue Cat in order to pop off and get additional cards. The additional card that you're most likely after, though, is going to be the X-Saber Airbellum, one of my favorite tuners of the time period. When it does have its effect and it inflicts battle damage to the opponent by a direct attack, you get to randomly rip a card out of their hand, which is always good. And in the case of the Rescue Cat, they're not going to have their effects, but you are going to get 2 3-star tuners at the same time. So again, good card, great card. It lends up to a lot of superior synchro plays, allowing you to tech and play faster. So it is good. Moving into the spells. Single copy Allure, Obvious Reasons, 2 copies Book of Moon. Again, I would think this is obvious. Brain Control, because again, you're going to be able to pop out 2 tuners. You may not have 2 other monsters, so why not use what your opponent has? Heavy Storm for the back row control. Mind Control at a single copy. Now, normally, under Brain Control, you can do whatever you want with the monster. With this one, it has to be a targeted monster that you put in controls until the end phase. Take control of it. It cannot declare an attack or be tributed. Again, synchronizing is different. So between this and Brain Control, we can actually rip both of our opponent's monsters from their side of the field off of a single Rescue Cat to go into double Airbellums to have 2 synchro monsters, knowing that we're not giving them back anything. So again, it's just excellent. He does tech a single copy of My Body as a Shield. Again, great card. When your opponent activates a card that has the effect that destroys 1 or more monsters on the field, pay 1,500 to negate and destroy the card. This is definitely worth it when you're playing this aggressive. This would allow him to even, I think, go through things like Doom Caliber, because before the end of the effect, it is trying to destroy the card. So, My Body's a Shield, very good stuff. Single copy MST, because yes. And 2 copies Pot of Avarice. It's not that he doesn't go through his monsters real quick, but you can, especially with the Rykos. This is a great way to reuse the Doom Calibers. This can get your Gravekeeper Spies effects to kick off more than once. This is a great way to reuse Rescue Cat and Airbellums. So again, it's just a really good tech, and I love it. Moving to his traps, he has 2 copies Bottomless Trap Hole, as is the standard. 3 copies of Dimensional Prison, because this guy's not playing around. He definitely does not want to get overpowered, and Stardust Dragon is an Apex Predator in this format. Single copy Dust Tornado, because again, the back row can be very deadly in this time period. Single copy of Solemn Judgment for the same reason. Single copy of Starlight Road to call out his own Stardust Dragon on command. And a copy of Trap Dust Shoot, because if Billy Brake knows one thing, it's if you can limit the opponent's options in a game all about getting the most options, you have the best chance of winning. So this is a very solid 40-card main deck. Again, I'm not going to get into the side deck. It is kind of crazy. It's basically a skill drain side swap, if you would. And again, you can find that by going to edisonformat.com, looking up this historic deck. It'll provide the entire list for you. But if you give me one moment, I'm going to be back with the extra deck that led into 3rd place. So just 1 second. All right, now the side deck consists of just 1 fusion monster, so single copy of the Chimeratech Fortress Dragon, and again, he's not waiting for the opponent to play a Cyber Dragon. He's got 2 of his own. He's going to be able to trigger this off against gadgets and machinas all day, every day. And then 14 Synchros. Now, he's a genius, and of course, he's got cards I'm missing, so we're going to make a couple substitutions along the way while giving you the correct information. So every time you guys see Double Ally of Justice Catastor, you guys know that only one of those is him, and one of them is a magical android. $17 is just too steep for me right now to purchase a single card, but he does play both of these level 5 Synchros. And again, it's 22 with the destroying of any non-dark, or he can gain 600 points per psychic on his side of the field at the end of the turn. Either one is very good. Next up, we've got a Black Rose Dragon for the detonate plays. We've got Bryanak for spot bounce. Colossal Fighter taking in against opponent Dark Armed Dragons. Goyo Guardian putting in the work and resurrection effects to get back opponent's monsters that were good. Mistworm For the triple bounce, we got Red Dragon Arcfiend, the board breaker. We've got 2 copies of Stardust. Now, again, we've got a copy of Starlight Road in the main, so it makes sense to have one, but this is going to be a good card. You're probably going to be summoning one of these anyway. 1 copy Thought Ruler Arcfiend because he's still good stuff, great stuff. And 1 tech that I thought was just kind of crazy. He's playing a single copy of the Egg Saber Yerbellum. And again, it goes back to what I said about Airbellum and Trap Dust Shoot. He knows that if he leaves his opponent with less options, he stands a better chance of winning. So this 7-star synchro here is very generic, just tuner non-tuners. When it inflicts battle damage to the opponent, if they have 4 or more cards in their hand, place a random card from their hand on the top of the deck. So it's not as good as like getting rid of the card entirely, but it does stall progress for a turn. And if you have your opponent in sort of like an almost top deck position where everything else is dependent on everything else, like Chaos Sorcerer and Dark Arm Dragon being in the hand, something like this can stall the opponent pretty well. Now, for those of you that are observant and realize that was only 13 cards, I'm bringing my Proxy Arcanite phone out. He's running 2 of these as well, because you got to remember all three of our Gravekeepers are 4-star spellcasters, and dealing with our 3-star Airbellum tuners. Since for some reason he didn't play Gale at all, which is fine. He didn't really need to. Airbellum will count as our regular tuner plus our non-tuner spellcasters. Gets you into this. It gets 2 spell counters on summon, 1,000 points of power per spell counter. And for the removing of his spell counter on your side of the field, you get to target a card the opponent controls and destroy it. So again, very good deck. Billy Break, like seriously, Apex Predator Duelist of the time period. Just a great build. Obviously, it earned 3rd. So it's nothing to sneeze at for the time period. And this would be fun to see something like this updated for a more modern playlist. Although I don't think it could be Synchro Cat anymore. It might be some sort of like Tech Cat, and it could be like Link Cat now. It could be Xyz Cat. There's a lot of things that Rescue Cat could have helped with moving forward. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, support the channel, like, comment, sub. It's very easy. Maybe you didn't enjoy this. I'm sorry. Hopefully you didn't actually watch all the way for me to apologize to you. That'd be a bit odd, but thank you for the view. I want you guys to go out. I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your weekend. I want you to do something for you. Okay, you're important. You need to hear that every now and again. Go out and do something fun that's specifically just something you want to do. And hopefully I get to see you guys again next time. I do have an Edison Tech Spotlight coming this Sunday. So if you guys are into that, check it out. If not, I'll see you next week. All right, later, guys.